is in the world.
Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting who we are, and nothing else matters. Never open myself this way. Life is hard to live it out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 8:12 p.m. on April the 4th, in the year of our Lord, 2026. What a marvelous time to be alive. Could someone give me a sound check, please? Sometimes I have to play really long songs because I'm still pulling up stuff for the live stream. I think I'll be late for my own funeral. Let me see. It's too much sometimes. Okay. I believe we are good to go. Sweet. Nanu. What was his handler's name? Alston? Mork calling Alston? I think it was. I remember that from when I was a child. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's have some fun tonight, shall we? Let's do what sets us apart from 90% of everyone else out there. It is a small but elite club. I want to show you the state of current affairs just for a few seconds. A couple of minutes maybe. Just so you get an idea of what's currently happening. Ramping up, getting worse by the day, as I have said, and I stand by that. So, for those of you that are intelligent and perceptive and always want the truth, regardless of if you like it or not, I will reiterate what I've said numerous times since the, quote, start of the war. We're now living in a time when you need to stop taking advice from the vast majority of humanity. Things have not even gotten bad yet. They've gotten interesting or interesting. I'm never sure which way to say that. I always say interesting. Some people say interesting. So things have gotten interesting, but they haven't even begun to get bad yet. And let's see what the current state of affairs is with the vast majority of humans, especially the ones we call Americans, shall we? And they make it so easy. I used to have to dig a little bit for stuff, but now it literally just falls into my lap. So I want to play you something. Keep in mind, this is 90% of all humanity at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Please understand that. It's gotten interesting, but things haven't even started to get bad yet. And this is where their heads already are at this point in the game. Let me share my screen. This is only about a minute long, if that, so just listen closely. I find it quite hilarious.
The arrogance and the ignorance is astounding here. It's just astounding. It's absolute insanity. I was watching an interview with Professor John Mearsheimer and Judge Napolitano earlier, and he's got Scott Ritter on, Marine Scott Ritter, and former UN weapons inspector on later this afternoon at like 1 p.m. Eastern on Judge Napolitano's channel, Judging Freedom. So I'll probably check that out. But I
Listen,
listened to Professor
wait for
Mearsheimer
it.
and Judge Napolitano, and I'm laughing most of the time. I mean, because I'm just like, this is absolute insanity. It really is. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I mean, this is like Doctor Strangelove on steroids, man. If anybody's ever seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, this is insanity.
What you just heard is a looking glass, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's coming from people who claim to believe in God God told me this and God told me that. This is where their heads are right now. They're already losing it. They're already astounded. This is insanity. This makes no sense. It actually does, if you know how to look at it. This makes perfect sense, what's happening right now upon the face of the earth. If you can see beyond your physical eyes. Something else I wanted to notate. These people they're promoting, such as Scott Ritter, who was a disgusting convicted pedophile, proving yet again that the Christians will promote anyone if they align with their political beliefs and their personal feelings. They don't care. They have no shame at this point. So as of right now, with the current situation, they're promoting their so-called experts. I'm watching this person. I'm watching that person. This has gone off the rails. This makes no sense. This is insane. This is where their minds are at right now, ladies and gentlemen. You need to understand that. And it hasn't even gotten bad yet. When I tell you that you need to stop looking at things with your natural eyes, this is a perfect example of why. Because this is what you're going to get out of these people, and it's going to get much worse over the coming weeks. It makes no sense to them. It's insanity. It's actually not. It's all part of the plan. What's happening now needs to happen. And I'm going to give you another example of why. So, as I often like to do, let me prove that I actually know what I'm talking about. Because I like to bring the receipts. This is what keeps me in the club. The very exclusive Gold Card Club. This is why they hate me. This is why they won't promote me. They'll take the information and try and use it, portraying themselves as coming up with this, right? But they hate me because I bring the receipts, and I use their own words to prove what disgusting, delusional fools they are. And they hate it. They hate it when you can back it up. And they hate it when they know that you can absolutely eviscerate them with their own words. So, backing up what I said, what I foretold, it happened. Imagine that. Let me show you exactly how it happened. These are my live streams that I've done. This one I did. Let me see the exact date actually. March 13th. I'm going to show you the first one I did. Most of you will remember this live stream. Let me share my screen. Depending on the size of the area. This is how much intel cost on the civilian side. If you want global coverage, they have different tiers. You will remember this live stream. I told you that people like me no longer had access to real-time satellite intelligence. I said they have put it on a delay. They will black it out most likely to hide what's actually happening. This was Planet Labs, which is available to most civilians. I also documented Black Sky, my favorite, which is not available to civilians. You have to know someone who knows someone to have access. So, this started out as a delay, a 1-week delay. Then it went to a 2-week delay. And as I told you would probably happen, they would make it permanent because they don't want you to see what's actually happening in Iran or Israel. So let me show you what has happened, ladies and gentlemen. This is Planet Labs, the website I documented along with Black Sky. This is a notice that went out, ladies and gentlemen. Due to the conflict in the Middle East, the U.S. government has requested all satellite imagery providers voluntarily implement an indefinite withhold of imagery. What's that, ladies and gentlemen? That is a total blackout of the Middle East. In the designated area of interest, That's another cute way of saying Iran and Israel and Kuwait and all the other surrounding countries, but mainly Iran and Israel. Effective retroactively from March 9th, ladies and gentlemen. I did my live stream on the 13th, 4 days after this started. Planet is moving to a managed access model, extending the publication delay for all new imagery within the designated area of interest and releasing imagery on a case-by-case basis and for urgent mission critical requirements. What this means, boys and girls, is civilians can no longer even pay the exorbitant price for satellite images that are only 3 hours old. This is a total censorship blackout. And believe you me, these companies are catching hell for this, as they should. The federal government has just censored the most accurate high definition reconnaissance you can possibly obtain. Would anyone like to guess why, ladies and gentlemen? They made this retroactive. And this is going to last for the foreseeable future. It doesn't matter who you know. It doesn't matter what type of defense company you work for. It doesn't matter what contractor you work for. They've blacked this out. They're hiding what's actually happening in the Middle East, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm proving this to you in real time. Imagine that. Let's see what else the gray man warned you about that's happened. Watch the water. You think the oil would hurt them? Take out a small amount of desalination plants. They don't have that many. It's estimated somewhere between 300 and 400. Hold on. But if you hit the bigger ones, that would be enough. You would inflict pain in a matter of hours. So as I sit here, crystal balling tonight. There we go. Remember I told you this was a high probability. Should you in the coming days or weeks hear of water treatment plants being hit in the Middle East because of the nasty Iranians, here we go. Grab the popcorn. As with everything now, you need to take it with a grain of salt. And you need to look deeper beneath the surface. Because if it happens, the world will instantly blame Iran. Here we go. But bring it home, the gray man. Bring it home, gray man. I submit to you another possibility, boys and girls. Well, look at that. Remember who showed you this? Well, let's see what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Keep in mind, I posted this live stream on March the 6th, 8 days after the war began. Let's see what happened with desalination plants, ladies and gentlemen. Iran military says Israel behind attack on Kuwait desalination plants. As you can clearly see, this was posted on March the 30th, ladies and gentlemen. Iran military says Israel, i.e. Mossad, behind attack on Kuwait desalination plants. Imagine that, boys and girls. And you're going to see this happen more and more over the coming days. Iranian attack damages Kuwait power and desalination plant, kills worker, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that. Again, this came out on March 30th. And they've hit several more since this happened. And of course, they're blaming Iran, correct? Imagine that. I wonder who could actually be behind this. Hmm. Imagine that, boys and girls. It happened just like I surmised, and it's going to continue to happen because it's all part of the plan. Oh, and remember when I did the live stream regarding the helium shortage? Yeah, well, let's see what happened just days after that. Oh, snap. Sony freezes memory card orders as global chip shortage hits even photography. This came out on March the 30th, boys and girls. A few days after I told you what would happen because of the helium shortage. It's memory cards, it's processors. This is going to hit like a massive tsunami. And here's proof of it. Told you to watch over the coming days how fast the supply chain dried up regarding anything that requires helium to produce. Shazam! I need to start buying high quality cigars to celebrate every time I'm right. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to do some more crystal balling. I mean, quite obviously, I would appear to be good at it. Oh, and just so you know, it's not my fault that people don't get notifications now. I have many subs telling me that they no longer receive notifications for live streams. I get it, and I know why. It's what happens when you're dealing with liberal queers that control the platform. But it's okay. Most people find them the day after, or the day after that. So, just know that I have no control over the live stream notifications. So now we're going to do some crystal balling, ladies and gentlemen. And if you will follow my advice as always, it will keep you in the small but very exclusive club of what's actually happening upon the face of the earth. It's not about the oil. It's not about nukes. That's what people will tell you. People who can only see with their eyes. People who can only promote other ignorant fools simply because they align with their political stance, simply because they reinforce their personal feelings. This war, as I've told you, is not physical. What's happening in the physical is actually not that important. Now, unfortunately, many people are going to die. And I knew this was coming. Let me pull up something that I posted. I posted this a week after it started. There's two pictures I'm getting ready to show you. The one on the left has already come to pass, ladies and gentlemen. The one on the right, unfortunately, will come to pass in the coming days. And I assure you, what you're looking at on the right is not pleasant for any member of the military. Picture 1 has been fulfilled. Picture 2 will be fulfilled over the next couple of weeks, if that long. I know what I'm talking about. You know why? Because I don't look to other human beings to give me all of my intel, to give me all of my knowledge, because I know where that leads. I don't have to promote disgusting, ignorant, convicted pedophiles I don't have to cheer on brother so-and-so because I agree with what he says, because I agree with the crap he posts on his YouTube channel. I'll put my record up against theirs any day of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to show you what this is about. Some people will believe this, some people will not. As always, it makes absolutely no difference to me. I am more than willing to tell people what they can do with their opinions at any given time. We went into Iraq, not because of weapons of mass destruction. They lied, like they always do. When I say this war is taking place in the spiritual realm, there's a good reason for that. They went into Iraq looking for certain artifacts. They went into Iraq looking for certain burial sites. In fact, a wife of a former U.S. president who was one of the most disgusting, evil people to ever walk the face of the earth, was actually outed for sending emails regarding this, ladies and gentlemen. Specifically, artifacts and the burial location of Nimrod. They want certain artifacts, and more than that, they are aware of certain areas upon this earth that contain portals. Those portals are incredibly powerful and incredibly dangerous. If you have some free time, look up Mount Graham. Look up Mount Graham and tell me why the Catholic Church decided to construct what they constructed on Mount Graham, ladies and gentlemen, and why they chose to call it Lucifer. This is all playing in to end times prophecy. This is what my crystal ball tells me. Take it for what it's worth. There are portals, also known as Stargates. I've said this numerous times over the years. Humans are not that creative, ladies and gentlemen. We are evil, sadistic, selfish savages, if left to ourselves, and we're just not that creative. They've mocked us for years. They've known the truth. They've put it in movies and television shows time and time again because they love to mock us. Stargate SG-1 was not pulled out of anyone's mind. No man sat down and created that. This knowledge comes from another realm. They've shown you the truth in movies and TV. And I promise you it wasn't because of some brilliant director or producer. It's because these people get that knowledge from another realm. I need to show you. I'll tell you this first. In Iran, and I can give you the GPS coordinates for it, there is a Stargate. It is outside of Abadan, Iran. It's located in the Abadan-Basra corridor. Do you know what's in that area, boys and girls? That's where the Tigris and the Euphrates River merge. You might want to do some research on the Euphrates River. You might want to do some research on Babylon. You might want to do some research on Nimrod. Some people surmise that Nimrod and Gilgamesh were the same person. That I cannot prove or disprove. It would serve you well over the coming days to research Nimrod. It would serve you well to start researching portals, or what they call Stargates. They use the terms interchangeably. They are looking for a specific location, and they are looking for artifacts that they believe will give them ultimate power. There's a reason our delusional, corrupt government officials started telling military members that this was a holy war and that we were fighting for Jesus. These people are trying to usher this in, ladies and gentlemen. Abaddon, Iran. There is something very, very powerful there. And how did I know this day would come? Let me prove that I knew this day would come. I posted this less than a year ago. Show me how the gods kill, O Father of the Mark. Stargate. January of 2025. 15 months ago. Stargate. But wait, there's something that's more frightening than this, boys and girls. This, I want you to look at very, very carefully. This was posted on May 10th of 2022. Close to 4 years ago. This is what I posted on my X account on May the 10th, 9:43 a.m. in the year 2022. The great Euphrates shall bear its foundation as a witness through the looking glass. All of this is happening in this region where the Euphrates and the Tigris converge. This is happening where a Stargate is located in Abaddon, Iran. And I suspect I know what one of the artifacts is they're looking for. Because they believe if they obtain that artifact, it will give them power. You see, unlike your average American, people in government, they know exactly the power of all of this. Unlike your YouTube Christians, certain government officials are fully aware of the power available to them in the spiritual realm. That's how many of them have gotten to their positions of power. That's how people become rich and famous, because they tapped into that power in another realm. There's a reason that many of our leaders are the epitome of evil. There's a reason that you can watch their eyes and see their pupils convert, shift vertically. And people still refuse to believe this. Ask yourselves why the people who parrot the most Bible verses are the most ignorant and delusional when it comes to this. Ask you why they can do nothing but promote other people who have no clue what's actually happening. When I tell you that you need to close your eyes and start looking at all of this through another dimension, this is why. This is taking place in real time. And it has very little to do with what you can see physically. It hasn't even gotten bad yet, and they are already in disbelief. They're already using words like insane. They're already using phrases like this makes no sense whatsoever. This is crazy. And it hasn't even gotten bad yet. They haven't even seen what is now being unleashed upon the face of the earth. This is why I've consistently told you the same things over and over again. Be thankful for everything you have. And as much as possible, stock what you need. Because this time, unlike all the other drama queen prophets and preppers, what I tell you to do will not go rancid before you could possibly use it. Gas is $4.03 a gallon where I live. I just saw it today. And it's going to go higher. The fuel shortages are spreading. As I stated, it would hit first with most impact in Australia. It's spreading. Prepare while there is still yet time. Ask him to show you great and mighty things that you know not of. Because I promise you this, it doesn't matter your level of intelligence. Believe me, mine is up there. My wife will be the first one to testify to that. But there comes a point where it goes beyond that. There comes a point where your intelligence will no longer suffice. It will actually lead you into deception if that's all you're relying on. You would do well to take this advice. People don't understand how deeply they've infiltrated religion, especially the Christian religion. You do understand that America is absolutely being taken over by Muslims. This is happening in real time all across the country. We are absolutely being taken over by a disgusting, violent, satanic religion. Texas has already fallen. Now they're hitting the Midwest. They're stopping traffic in New York City, ladies and gentlemen. This is happening in real time. And it doesn't take much research to prove what I'm saying. They've done this intentionally. You might want to rearrange your priorities while there's still time. They are ushering in the end of the end days. And a lot of people are going to die because of it. And even more people are going to be deceived because of it. Because they're trying to figure it out on their own. I was laughing again today how these spiritual leaders, I started to make an infomercial because it would absolutely make me laugh to no end. The spiritual leaders who talk about how you can have miracles in your life, I've got a 7-point message if you need to see miracles in your life. And I think, how the hell can you teach others to receive miracles when you can't even perform miracles yourself? It reminds me of the real estate scams from the late 90s. The dude that comes on the TV with the hot chicks all around him in front of his boat, in front of his mansion. You too can live like me. Would you like to have a life of wealth and fabulous times? I can teach you the secrets to become a real estate millionaire for $99.95. There was one guy that would wear a money suit. There was another guy, I believe he was Korean. And people fell for that. And it's hilarious looking back on it. Would you like to quit your job? Would you like to travel the world? Let me show you the way. Flipping houses, investing in real estate, secret government grants. And I watch these so-called pastors and Christian ministers. They're no different. They're just selling God. They're selling the notion of God. They're selling miracles and they're selling healing. The time is going to come when you need to reject anyone that claims to speak in the name of God unless they can demonstrate his power. Think about this. Why is it that the most popular Christian leaders in this country could not demonstrate the power of God if someone held a gun to their head? Yet they want to tell you how you can receive healing. They want to tell you how you can receive blessings. They want to tell you about how God can open another door in your life. Yet all they can do is talk about it. None of them that I'm aware of can demonstrate it. Save for one guy in Texas. They have infiltrated at least 90% of the churches. Some people on the inside say more. I don't know. I know that 90% is most likely an understatement. And it doesn't matter how much you love brother so-and-so. More than likely, he's been infiltrated. FEMA was fully aware of this years ago. They started training church pastors to teach their flocks what they should do during times of emergency. And it basically boiled down to do whatever the government officials tell you to do. Comply with those who have authority over you. This started many years ago, and it was very successful. Every week, another paper comes out, peer-reviewed, about that vaccine that your ministers were telling you that you needed to take. And it's absolutely disgusting. The CDC, it's now gone public that they buried results regarding vaccines and autism. Imagine that. Most of it comes out in the wash eventually. And if you heard any pastor tell you that you should take a vaccine, you're an absolute ignorant fool if you listen to anything else they ever say. Because I promise you, 90% of them have been infiltrated. They're pushing their narrative, and it's not the truth. Seek out the truth. I'm going to laugh when they're drug out of their pulpits by their throats because people are so enraged that they were not warned what's actually coming. That may make me a complete ass, so be it. I'm going to laugh watching them get eviscerated by their sheep because they never told them the truth. And believe me, the day's coming. They're going to be running for cover when the people they have fleeced for years are terrified because they were not warned by the guy with the man bun and the skinny jeans, by the man on the stage with all of his cute little props. That hour is coming, and it's coming quickly. There's certain passages from that ancient book that consistently pop into my head. These verses from that ancient book are more powerful than most people could possibly imagine. The first two are playing out more by the day. The last one is completely up to you. You would do well to write these down. You would do well to meditate on these verses day in and day out. And when you're listening to these people who claim to be experts, when you're listening to these people that the YouTube Christians like to promote, you need to remember the first one and the second one. He is the Lord who foils the signs of the false prophets and makes fools of the diviners, who overthrows the learning of the wise and turns it into nonsense. They are from the world and therefore speak from the viewpoint of the world. And the world listens to them. Those two passages from that ancient book are becoming more powerful and real with each passing day. And if you want to know the truth, stop looking with your physical eyes and stop listening with your ears. And make the third one come to pass. This one's completely on you. No one can spoon feed it to you. Call on to me, and I will answer thee, and I will show great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Unfortunately, there are shortcuts that you can take. I find it quite disheartening and sad that high-level practitioners of the occult have power that the Christians do not have. I find it disgusting that they can demonstrate the power of the God they serve, and yet the Christians could not demonstrate the power of their God if their life depended on it. I find it disgusting and frightening. They can make offers to you for money and knowledge and fame and power, and their God will back it up. And yet the Christians, all they can do for the most part is give you empty, powerless words. How sad is that? When the most evil, vile people on the face of the earth can demonstrate the power of their God, and yet people who call themselves Christians cannot. People are watching what's happening around them. They're watching this country alone being overtaken like many others have. They're watching American citizens who have been raped and murdered, who are set free the next day. They're watching disgusting piece of trash criminals who have invaded this country and stolen hundreds of billions of dollars from people who work 50 hours a week just to take care of their family. And what do they get from the Christians? Just love your neighbor, brother. Just feed and clothe your neighbor. That's all you can do. Don't oppress the foreigner in your land. Nope, we're not allowed to do that. That's what they're getting from these gutless coward Christians as they're watching this happen around them. And you Christians wonder why you're a freaking pathetic joke at this point. Because you're gutless cowards. People can see what's happening. I laugh about this. I'll be driving down the road and this will pop into my head and I'll bust out laughing. I swear before Almighty God, If David and Goliath were to take place tomorrow, 99% of all Christians would tell David, don't do it, brother. Just pray for him. You feed him and clothe him, brother. You don't want to sow discord among the brethren. That would be the vast majority of all Christians telling David when he stepped up to face Goliath. Don't oppress the foreigner. Just pray for your enemy, brother. This is why they're going to fall in a day. When something happens outside of their little box of reality that they cannot comprehend, that they have not been warned about, because they haven't been told this is an outright war, and it's growing stronger by the day. And the most dangerous part of the war is not what you can see with your physical eyes. I've said this for years, they're going to fall in a day. Count yourselves fortunate that at least most of you will not be part of that. Because you were told, you were warned, and it was confirmed again and again and again. I could become a wealthy man. Could have made so much money off of this. Could have made so much money off of my website. I've been tempted a few times. Think, why am I doing this for free? I can't even give my money away to the false prophets because they won't even stand up and challenge me. But I hate con men. I hate disgusting whores like Paula White. They disgust me. And that's too much like that. It makes me feel dirty just thinking about that. Telling people, if you want your son healed, you need to sow a gift. You need to give a love offering, brother. The mere thought of that just makes me absolutely disgusted. Which is why I don't make money off of any of this. It's in fact cost me money. But it's okay. I'm doing okay. Seek him while he may be found, and ask him to show you great and mighty things that you know not of. Prepare. Don't wait until someone's breaking into your home and try and learn how to use a weapon to stop him. Prepare. This is staggering. There's another artifact I believe they're looking for. The disclosure, the initiation of all of this was not an accident, and it has nothing to do with nukes. It's staggering. I sit here and think about it every day. It's staggering what's coming to pass and how quickly it's coming to pass by the day. And so many people are going to die because of this. Prepare for the war the best you can. Sometimes I have a hard time formulating this now. I don't even like doing live streams anymore. Because it's sad and it's frightening. This would be a good time to do your absolute best to walk right before your Creator. The day has come when only His supernatural provision will sustain you. I knew it would start with the food. I knew that close to 4 years ago. Actually 3.5 years ago. I knew it would start with the food. And now we're living in a time when people are feeding their infants toxic formula. They're coming out of the womb and they're being poisoned. And it's spread. It's far beyond food now. It's staggering. It's almost surreal when you know what's coming, and yet it still takes you back when you see it happen in a day. I can't even conceive of what it's like to be most people who only listen to what they want to listen to, who only agree with people they like, who reject anything that's outside of their box of reality. I can't even fathom what that's like. The numbers are staggering. The percentage of people that you shouldn't even be around anymore, because they will infest your mind. They will rob you of your peace. They will make you question your faith. It's the majority of people now. That's the hour that we're living in. They're toxic. And the most toxic people I know of right now, and I see this every day, are the people who quote Bible verses the most. Delusion and confusion. Don't be a part of that. There is but one mediator. There is but one mediator between you and the truth. There is but one mediator that can protect you from the delusion that is now sweeping the earth, the chaos and the panic. There is but one mediator. And I promise you, he's not on social media. And you're actually going to have to search. You're going to have to do the work yourselves this time. I'm actually impressed with how many people get this. I get emails. And I actually just kind of smile and shake my head. And I'll think, all right. All right. It's good to know. Sometimes you have no idea. And then you'll get an email and someone will say something. You'll think, look at that. That's my advice, ladies and gentlemen. Take it for what it's worth. Swim at your own risk. No lifeguard on duty. Not responsible for lost or stolen items, etc., etc., etc. Every time I say that, I think of Willy Wonka. To this day, that's still one of my favorite movies. I'm always joking around with my wife. I'm like, I bet heaven is like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Just trees of candy, rivers of chocolate, mountains of peanut butter. And what if there's a place at the bottom of the mountain where you can mix the chocolate and the peanut butter, bro? Reese's, my favorite candy ever. I rarely eat it now because it's trash. Fake chocolate, fake Hershey's bars. Yeah, that's my idea of heaven. And I can eat as much as I want and never gain an ounce. I will never again have to fast for 4 or 5 days a week. Yeah, I think that's why I love that movie so much. And there's someone in control, and even when it looks scary, it's not, because he controls everything. God, that's a really old movie now. But yeah, that's my Willy Wonka heaven vision. To each his own, right? My wife, she loves the birds, so she just wants to go to heaven so she can talk to birds and the animals. She loves plants. Everyone has something that they look forward to when they think about this concept of heaven. For me, it's just endless mountains of candy and cheesy snack crackers and the best root beer ever created, right? Yeah, I have issues with chocolate. I don't lie. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I have issues with chocolate. But I figure after I've fasted for 4 or 5 days, if I want to have a dinner of, fine German chocolate, that's my prerogative. I've earned that, right? Hopefully it's all wrapping up, ladies and gentlemen. At least as we know it. Pain and the tears and the torture and the sex trafficking. Single mothers breaking down because they're doing everything they can do and it's still not enough. People working until they're just mentally exhausted and it's still not enough. People who are watching their children go without. People who wake up and go to sleep every day with a 1,000-pound weight of hopelessness crushing them. The cries of millions of children that never stop. Hopefully, it's all coming to an end very soon. Just make sure you're standing on the right side of the fence on the day that it's too late to make a decision. Because it will take most people unawares. I remember years ago watching a Simpsons episode. It's so bizarre how my mental file cabinet just stores the most obscure, weird things, right? So there was this preacher on The Simpsons, and he was trying to witness to Bart. And Bart looked at him and he said, "Listen, man, I figure I'll just get right on my deathbed." Then the minister said, "That's not a bad strategy, I have to admit. Deathbed confession. I respect your game. But have you ever thought about unexpected death?" I still laugh about that all these years later. It's not a bad strategy. But have you thought about unexpected death? It's funny where you can learn lessons from in life. Don't wait for the deathbed confession, boys and girls, because it's going to be unexpected for many. And if you don't have peace now, if you don't know where you stand now, it's going to be much more difficult when things are standing in front of you that you cannot physically explain. So, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go spend time with my beautiful wife. I'm going to try and find an 80s movie to watch, because most of the new ones are trash. I might watch Willy Wonka, come to think of it. Of course, I'll be making a food run if I do that. So that's my advice, ladies and gentlemen. That is the so-called intel that I have to offer you tonight. I'm sure I forgot at least one thing that I'll remember as soon as I shut it down. Oh, the river. I believe I showed everyone this. I'll show you this just in case before I wrap this up. Take a very good look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The Euphrates River holds more mystery and terror than people care to ponder. And there's a Stargate roughly in this area right here. There's a reason they want control of it. There's a reason we've been in Iraq, ladies and gentlemen, for so long. It's a big country to explore, especially when you're walking around ancient Babylon. They've found what they've found, and they've pulled it out of Iraq. Now it's time to move east. Remember that what's happening in the area that I'm showing you goes far beyond what you can see with your eyes. This is beyond what anyone in the media can tell you. It's beyond what 90% of so-called Christians and religious people can tell you. There are some people clued into this. Remember I told you why this is happening. That's all I've got, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time. If the nukes don't fall, if the beans don't appear, I'll see you next time.